Good evening, everyone. As a young boy, I was always very conflicted with how I should express myself. Our society tends to foster a hypermasculine mindset that tends to place boys in one box and girls in another box. I've always found that rather limiting, considering I've always rejoiced in the way that women have expressed strength through their feminine nature. Throughout history, there's been this belief that men and women are fundamentally different creatures. But let's get one thing straight. Sex is a biological term. It refers to which chromosomes you were born with. 2 X's is female, X and Y is male. Gender is a social construct. For the most part, this is expressions of masculinity and femininity, and they are on a spectrum, so they can overlap. And actually, men and women are more similar than they are different. Expressing femininity does not make me less of a man, especially because I believe masculinity is not the opposite of femininity. They are two mindsets that allow you to access what it means to be a whole human being, as opposed to the best man or best woman. As I witness the adversity that our gender nonconforming community is experiencing at this moment, I find it's my responsibility to stand as a positive affirmation of what it means to amplify your masculinity through women's wear and what the range of gender expression can be in our world. Gender is what you make of it, and I refuse to let anyone tell me who I should be or how I should act. So my view and my fashion, I see fashion or clothes as a way to reach a higher level of who we are. And regardless of how you express your gender, I think it is a powerful way to express your joy and what that is within. So, people tend to ask me, how do I exude such great style? So I want to explore that question and answer that in a logical and intellectual way so that we can all have great style. So I boiled my answer to this question down to 5 steps, okay? And for the most part, I will tell you that this is, even though I stand up here giving you my prescription to style, and they may seem easy, it actually is a hard task because it has to deal a lot with self-reflection, a lot of soul-searching and discernment. But it's an effort that I think that we all need to make because it will definitely pay dividends long into our lives. So step 1, think about your favorite characters that you admire the most. On the screen, you can see these are my favorite characters. Your characters can be non-fictional or fictional. They can be famous or not famous. They can be a family member, an animal, an inanimate object. The thing is, you want to think about who you want to be and who is the person that you would want to be for any reason, and that's who you should choose as your favorite person that you admire. You want to identify key themes in how you think and how you want to interact with your world. So be truthful and honest about who it is that you find yourself finding most attractive and endearing. So moving into step 2, I want to make sure that we come to an understanding about appearances. One's image is an indication of the type of interaction that one will receive from another person. So with step 2, we want to consider the lasting impression that we're going to leave people with when they walk away from us. And the way that we're going to determine our most defining characteristics is by returning to our favorite characters, right? And jotting down 3 descriptive words for each of those characters. So you're going to want to be kind of selective about the words that you choose for each of these characters, because basically the words that you choose are words that will eventually define all of who you are. So once you have your list of descriptive words, we can move on to step 3, which is about condensing. So when you're thinking about condensing, we kind of want to do the same thing we were doing with each of our characters. We want to come up with 3 characteristic words that define ourselves now. One of my favorite fashion editors Diana Vreeland, the fashion editor of all fashion editors, had once said, there's only one great life. It's the one you know you want and you make it yourself. So the way that we make our lives what we want it to be is by thinking about the energy that we want to put out into the world, because the energy you put out is the energy you get back. So review your words, think about the words that are most similar in feeling to one another so that you can condense them into your 3 core style words, okay? So as you can see, most of my prescription of style has nothing to do with clothing. But once you have your 3 style words, that's when we can start thinking about clothing. So, step 4 is going to be a daily practice, okay? It's going to require you to take your 3 words, and every day when you get up in the morning to get dressed, you want to find the pieces that speak to, if not all 3 of those words, at least 1 or 2 of those words. And this is about creating a recognizable look, okay? And when we think about the pieces that we're putting on our bodies, if they're speaking to all 3 of those words, then the overall appeal of your look is going to boil down to those 3 words in the eyes of the beholder. Now, this doesn't call for you to go into your closet, throw everything out, and then buy a whole new wardrobe, okay? What it's really, the key about this step is to eliminate the pieces that don't speak to those core words. And, it comes down even to thinking about something as simple as sweatpants or a hoodie. When you think about going to buy your pieces, you want to make sure that there are design details in them that exude those 3 core words. So take a hoodie, for example. I'll use myself. If I'm going to go buy a hoodie, maybe I want to find one that happens to be, has fantastical colors, which is one of my words. I try to exude some type of fun within my style. Another one of my words is ingenious. And maybe my hoodie that I want to find has a zipper that goes asymmetrical across my body, which is a really fun new take on how a zipper should function. Or perhaps I want to find a hoodie that has the silhouette of a blazer, which can give off some pretty professional vibes. The thing about this step 2 is that you really want to use your 3 words to elevate your everyday look, and you want to push yourself and try to think outside the box and exude those 3 words to the fullest. Now, for my last step in my prescription to style, now that we know who we are and who we want to be and who we don't want to be, it's time for us to see what we can do about incorporating all 3 of those words into everything that we do. You want to align the people, the close company that you have in your life with those 3 words. You want to align the daily functions or daily activities that you do every day with those words. You also, maybe you want to think about what you eat and try to align that with your words as well. And this may sound unorthodox because it may place you outside the box of what is normal or proper, but as was said in Alice in Wonderland, who's to say what's proper? The thing about it is I don't think any of us know what is the proper way to live as a human being on our planet. And for the most part, I think that the way to distinguish who is living a proper life is their level of contentment. And if the way that you enjoy life allows you to feel whole, safe, and happy, and you're not hurting anybody, I think that's the life that we're all trying to achieve. So, for the most part, one thing to really remember about getting dressed is that the opinions of others is none of your business, okay? I think what Coco Chanel meant when she said elegance is refusal is that you should refuse to be anybody but who you want to be. And at the end of the day, a strong sense of self is an indication that you are in control of where you want to go and who you want to be. And people respond well to people who appear in control of themselves. Thank you.